Hello everyone. Welcome to MT4Professional's presentation of New User Orientation and Training. I want to do a quick microphone check just to make sure everyone can hear me. So if you would be so kind as to let me know if you can hear me, I would greatly appreciate it. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Good. We're getting started right on time. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. We have a new president to inaugurate today. We have a lot of market activity and possible volatility in the markets, so I want to make sure get this done and answer all of your questions, and we can get back to the fun of what we're here for, and that's to trade these markets. I want you to make sure that you understand we're going to go over some terms with regards to MT4Professional to make sure that you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And when I refer to things that in the platform, you'll also understand what it is that we're looking at. So again, within the MT4Professional environment, the terms that you might or might not be familiar with are desktops. A desktop consists of a group of workspaces, scanners, or symbol lists. So any one particular desktop will be defined as a workspace, scanner, and symbol list combination. You can create a desktop that doesn't have one or the other. So if you just only want to load a desktop that only has a workspace and a symbol list with no scanner, then it's also possible. A workspace is a collection of charts placed in your desktop space provided. Okay, so I'll show you that here in a moment. The scanner, multi-time frame color-coded display of the MT4 indicator outputs that are based on your own rule sets. This is displayed on the left-hand side. And the symbol list, a user-defined list of symbols, the actual symbols that you will be using when you use the platform. The scanner and symbol work together in that every symbol that you have listed, the output of the scanner will be displayed for that symbol list. So the scanner will not display any output if you do not have a symbol list defined. So they work together. The control center, it is the entire left-hand side display. Includes the one-click desktop, workspace, scanner, and symbol list display, and includes the entire scanner and symbol list items. So it's the entire left-hand control panel. We call that the control center that you can detach and move around. The command bar is the top bar that is on top of your workspace display. And I'll be able to show you that. I'm not going to go over these details. I'll go over these during the presentation, so we'll just get right to it. All right, to get started with MT4Professional. Everyone should already have gone through this procedure, but I'm going to go through it in detail for you so that you'll know exactly how to go in to the membership area, how to download the software. There is in the membership area a lot of information already, but I want to make sure that you understand how to do it. So always start from the MT4Professional.com website. Sign in. Once you have signed in, you'll land on your MT4 accounts page. This is kind of the starting point. This shows you how many accounts that you have available. You can see I have the 3+ plan, so I have 3 different accounts that I have set up and I'm currently using. On the top display of every page of this Windows area is a download the software button. This is where you would click to download the software and install it on your application. Like any other software download, it's a download that allows you to walk through that. Okay? The documentation is located under the documentation panel right here. Once we record and make any installation videos, they all will be placed right here in the training video section right now. There are two, one specifically on installation and configuration, the other one on scanner configuration. So those are the detailed information that we have currently. The rest of the information is given on the left-hand side of the control panel where you can go through and identify those. So going through installation, just want to make sure that you click the download link, you run through the installer. It will ask you the specific folder that you want to install into. It will identify all of the MT4 installations on your computer. If you don't want MT4 Professional installed on any application, just simply tick it off and it will install into any application that you have checked here. If there's any specific account that does not show up on the list and you would like to add it, then it gives you the opportunity to add that right here by clicking on the Add a MetaTrader folder, and then you can go and locate the MetaTrader folder that you are looking for and add it to the account. All right. Once you have an empty profile displayed, once you launch MT4, then you will have an empty profile. And I'll go through that right now and show you exactly what I mean. Okay, I'm going to create a brand new blank empty profile right now. I'm going to save this profile here as demo. Okay. Now this is a demo profile that I've got. I don't need this window. I don't need that window. I don't need that window. It's a blank profile. I will just open and create a brand new window. I don't need, there's nothing specific that I have to have on this window. I don't have to configure it in any special way. The only thing I need to do is go to my Expert Advisors on my navigator. And under the Expert Advisors, there will be a MT4 Professional Expert Advisor. And you want to select that MT4 Professional Advisor. Drag and drop it onto the window. Okay. This is the setups or the inputs that you can set whenever you load or launch MT4 Professional. You can see that the operating mode is defined by one of these three inputs: normal, which is the default setting; watch list mode, and I will go over that in detail exactly what watch list, but a watch list simply opens up a workspace that has all of the charts that you have placed notes on. So it's a great way for you to track or monitor potential trade setups that you're looking at. Trade monitoring and trade management, it'll automatically launch in those modes. And so the normal default mode is just a blank screen, and that's what we're going to start with today. The default trade risk, you can set the default trading size risk that you're going to apply to any trade that you take within the MT4 Professional environment. Right here it's defined as 0.1%. So any number that you enter here is a trade risk that's in percentage. So once you put this in, if I want a 1% risk on my trade account, then you would put a 1.0 in this field. If you want 2%, then you put a 2.0. If you have a large account but you do not want to have it risk sized to all of the value of your account, then you can set that to 0.1 or 0.01 or 0.05 or any value that gives you the lot size that you're specifically looking for. And the risk will always be calculated based upon the stop you select. Under Common, make sure that you always have it set to allow external imports, DLL imports, and input of external experts must be checked on that in order for it to function properly within your environment. Once all of that is done, you just click OK. Those are all the default settings. I'm just going over them in detail so that you can understand it when you use it yourself. Once you click OK and load it, it will automatically launch and display the MT4 Professional environment. All right. So that's what is referring to by adding an account through the Expert Advisor panel. All of this is gone over in the user's guide as well. Now I would like to go over the configuration feature. The very first time that you launch MT4Professional on your computer, so when you go through and you load that EA onto a profile, it will come up and it will display this user token window. This is the very first thing that you'll see. It'll come up and create, say, user token. Click here to create a new token. To do that, it will take you to the MT4 users area and log you into your account. It will open up. The direct way to get to that is to go to your settings. Okay, so I'll take you there real quick. Within your settings, you'll see over on the left-hand side an API menu item. Right here, the API menu item allows you to create a token. This is exactly where you're going to be getting it from. Click the Create Token. It will create a token and display it right here. Well, you actually, no, I'm sorry. This is where you create your token name. Right here, the name, for example, Marcus.com or Oanda or things. These are examples of tokens that I've created previously and have used. Once you click the name, you can create a token. Demo, I'll create a token. Here is the token that was created. You copy this and you will paste this into the window that MT4Professional prompts you to place the token in. So you select it, you copy it, and then you will paste that into the window. Right here. I currently don't have one popping up on my screen, but I'm showing you exactly how you would pop that up. Just right click on this field and select paste, or Control V to paste the value into the token and click OK. And then that, once it's verified, will automatically launch the MT4Professional environment and get you going on that. Once that is complete, then it also, I'll take you back to the users area here. It will show up with the name that you gave it. In this case, I logged in demo, but you give it the name, and then it will give the account number associated with the instance of MT4 that you are running. That verifies that you have activated your account and now are successfully on your way to using MT4Professional. Are there any questions about that at this time before we proceed? Has everybody been able to log in and activate and configure their MT4Professional environment? Okay, those of you who are saying no, have you tried and have had issues, or have you just not gone through it yet? Okay, okay, good. So you haven't had a chance to go through it yet. That's okay. All right. You can watch this video again. Also, I want to refer you to the online documentation. This installation and configuration video right here goes through exact same process step by step to help you to get that launched and to get your first MT4 session going. Haven't had time to do it? Okay, that's fine. Looks like most of the people who haven't run it haven't had the time to do it, but it's very simple once you go through it. Just follow the screen instructions and make sure that you have your membership site open and running, and then it just walks you right through it. Hopefully this video or the today's presentation will help you to see that and to show you the ease of that. And if you do have any need of help or have questions, then you can always contact us through our support channel, support@mt4professional.com. support@mt4professional.com, and we'll be glad to provide you with the necessary support to get you up and running. All right, if there aren't any other questions on the installation and configuration, then I'll go on through the rest of the presentation to go through all the details of using the platform. Okay. All right. MT4Professional, what I said before, the terms I went through and defined for you what a desktop was. You can see a desktop is the entire display area. So it includes the left-hand display area and the right-hand display area. And it defines exactly what's going to be loaded. So I have several different desktops that are predefined. Okay. One of them that you already have by default should be a MACD. Two different MACD displays, a short time and a long time display. I will pull up my short time MACD display and show you exactly what's involved in this. The display comes up with a preset configuration for workspace, a preset configuration for scanner, and a preset configuration for a symbol list. You can see that right here. If you click on the pencil that's on the left side, this will open up a window that allows you to define what those are. So if you already have a workspace defined, a scanner defined, and a symbol list defined, you can choose those from the drop-down list. Any workspace you have pre-configured already is available here, and you can load that in to this workspace setting. And when you click on the name that you give this file, it will automatically pull up that workspace every time. The scanner is linked to that. So if I make a scanner that's made specifically for that workspace, then I want it to always load that scanner. Okay, so but I can load any other scanner that I want. And I can attach it to any symbol list. So if I want to apply it to my Forex list, or if I have a list of futures or equity data, or if I just only want to look at European issues, then everything can be pre-configured here as a list of symbols that you want to apply these settings to. File, you can save this desktop. You can save the desktop as something else if you want to use the same names but just create a different list and then change it slightly. That's a great way to replicate or copy. And you can apply notes to that. Any note that you apply, it's just simple. All the notes are is just a way for you to document or say, this is my MACD setup that my default settings, or this is my favorite setup, or the scanner, and you can describe it. The workspace goes through a 4 daily, weekly setup, and I use this for whatever. So you can go into whatever detail you like, so that in the future, when you come back to this, you'll pull your notes up and you'll say, why did I put these together? But then you'll have a note that says, I put this scanner with this workspace because I'm looking at so and so. So it's a great way for you to document whatever it is that you're putting together. Richard, depending upon your MT4 broker, you can trade equities. There are certain MT4 brokers that allow you to trade equities and futures, index futures, Forex, and so forth. So it all depends upon your broker. There aren't many brokers out there that do it, but there are some. Okay, to exit, any questions on the scanner, on the desktop configurator before we move on? The workspace configurator, it's the exact same thing. It's just a list of different workspaces that you have available. You can click and select any workspace at any time. It doesn't really care what workspace you choose or what whether the desktop is already pre-configured or not. Okay, so anything that you have displayed in this window when you click redraw will always redraw whatever the current workspace setting is. If you want to get back to what your previous desktop configuration was, all you have to do is just reload that desktop, and it will automatically set everything back exactly the way you had already told it to do. It's very simple, very easy to do. All right, the workspaces work exact same way. The scanners work the exact same way in the symbol list. If I wanted to change a symbol list, then I can go and only look at US dollar only symbols. Then it automatically changes that and applies the scanner rules to this reduced set of symbols. At any time, I can go through and change those. If I wanted to apply a new scanner rule set, for example, I've got a 4 time frame Hawkeye uh, rule set, then I'll apply that to this. So you can see that I have the Hawkeye rules, which are trend, volume, and momentum applied to 4 time frames on these symbol sets that I'm looking for. So the algorithms are a little more beefy than just a regular MACD, so it's going to take a little bit more time to calculate and display. Okay. So anything can be set up this way, and if I want to get back at any time to the pre-configured settings, then I just click on that and it automatically goes right back to where I was before. The X, all the X is it deletes the currently selected workspace, desktop, scanner, or symbol list from the thing. It will prompt you and ask, do you want to delete this? If you do, then it will delete it. Otherwise, if you confirm it, it will. Otherwise, it will ignore it. And the plus sign is just a great way to create a brand new desktop or workspace or scanner or symbol list. Okay. To create a brand new desktop, just click the plus button. A window comes up, and it by default fills in if you already have one. Otherwise, it'll just come right up to a default list. It'll be blank, and it'll allow you to just select whatever list that you like. I'll make one here real quick. Let me see. Workspace, I'm going to pull in my Tomahawk scanner. For my scanner, I want the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. And for Forex, I'm only interested in my US dollar only. I'm going to save that desktop as. I don't currently have a desktop set up, so I'm going to call it a, looks close. And I will save it. Okay, so that is now my Hawkeye Tomahawk scanner. Works desktop. Okay, file, exit. Now when I go up under my desktop list, then you will see I have a Hawkeye Tomahawk scanner that I will preload. It will automatically configure itself based upon the workspace scanner and symbols that are loaded. So this workspace is the Hawkeye scanner FM, which is the Fat Man, of course. It preloads my scanner. It also preloads the symbol list that I have predefined for that. So everything comes up exactly the way that I want it. Did you notice that the size of the scanner area changed when I loaded this particular one? Well, let's go through the scanner setup and show you what I'm referring to. Anytime you have scanner definition file, up on the very top center portion, I just found this out recently, you can define the size of the scanner window based upon this number. So you can change this size and it will automatically pre-scale the size of your display to maximize the display area so you don't have a lot of wasted space over here. So this is a great way to set that and to optimize the size of your display to give you good real estate. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out to you before we continue on. So that's a great tool. So if I were to go back and go to another display, then that scanner also can have a preset configuration. In this case, it also was 250, but I can go a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to go 200, save scanner. Every time you save a scanner or a workspace or a desktop or a symbol list, notice the highlight on the scanner turns yellow. That's to remind you that there have been changes made in the current scanner, but they have not been displayed yet. In order to display them, all you have to do is reload the scanner. In this case, that's the one I changed on the list. So I'll just re-click MA9, and it's automatically rescaled the window and automatically sized everything back up the way it should be. That is just so very convenient. And so if I were to go back now to the previous scanner, the one that I had set up for my Hawkeye, I think it's this one. No, is that right? No, that's the wrong one. I forgot which one I loaded, so let me load it back from here. There. See, it automatically resized the window back to the size it should be and automatically loads up the window that I asked it to load up. You're currently having a problem with the scanner taking too much time to update the Hawkeye setups. That's true because Hawkeye is a very uh, number crunching utility, and so for the scanner to go through and calculate all those and display them, it does take a lot more time to do rather than a simple list. So we're looking at ways right now of how to speed that up and make it a lot more a lot faster. So we're looking into that right now. Bruno, how many time frames can we use the scanner with? Okay, let me pull the scanner configurator up. The time frames that you can use right here are limited only to the number that you can display. So you can display any number of time frames that you like. If I want to add 1, 2, 3 more time frames, then I can do that right here, just by simply adding the time frames and setting them up to use them. So I've got a 1, 5, and 15. I can add a 30. Here I can add an H1. Here I can add an H4, and so forth. So I can add as many time frames as I have access to. Right now, the current limitation on the scanner columns is you're limited to the number of time frames, but you can load two separate windows that have the same time frame if you're looking at two different displays. So one column can be 1 minute and you're looking at a display of, like, say, trend. The next column can be 1 minute, but it can also be a display of heat map. If you wanted to separate them, you could do that. So you're limited only within the constraints of the MT4 environment only. Right now, you cannot use custom symbols and custom time frames on the scanner. We're working on trying to make that a future update to the software, but right now there are no custom timeframes in the scanner. Only standard timeframes are available in the scanner. But that will be a future release that we're working on right now to update that. The roadkill is a complex indicator that cannot be directly integrated into the scanner at this moment, but we're working on and looking at a bridge function that you can build to integrate that. So because the roadkill is a complex indicator, uh, it does not display the values on the chart that you're interested in showing. So let me pull up a chart that has it on it. This one right here. Okay. So the roadkill doesn't display the values to the right-hand side of it, so you don't really know the output that's available. You can view the data window, okay? And if I were to go over here to the roadkill, then you can see what the outputs are over on the side. You can see right here that under the uh, right here, window 3, then this is the output right here of the roadkill, but you can see this is the index order that's going to be shown, index 0, 1, and 2, and so forth. But the outputs that are here are not the output of the function. They are the actual height, the value of the output. So in this case, the volume says 3. Well, you can see the height of the volume always will be 3, 0 to 3. The height of any signal right here will always be 7, or in this case 6. So you can see the 6's that pop up there. Okay, the 6's pop up to show you that the setting is there. This 6 shows the aggressive. Here you've got an aggressive and a Hawkeye volume radar. So the settings show up at that point, but it gives you the index value, but it does not give you the proper output that you need. So a small little bridge has to be created in order to give you an output that you can toggle on or create within the scanner. That's all you're looking for. So that's the difficulty of trying to integrate custom software. If you integrate a standard uh, indicator like the MACD, then it becomes trivial. The RSI becomes trivial. There are values that are easily seen and displayed. For example, the MACD shows you two separate outputs out to the side of the MACD. If you look at the RSI, then it'll do the same thing. Your That's the value that you're trying to use and to compare or to look at the results. So based on that value, anything that's negative, you're going to be bearish. Anything that's positive, you're going to be bullish. And it makes for a very good, easy comparison. So, but as far as the roadkill, then the roadkill itself, you're going to have a special indicator that outputs numbers that bridges that indicator to your scanner. If you're clever, you might be able to do it yourself. Absolutely. Um, David says the X deletes things. Yes. It doesn't just clear the selection window. No, it doesn't. It actually deletes and removes the workspace, desktop symbol list, or scanner from the list. I created, let's see, what did I create today? I forgot. I thought I made a demo, but I guess that was on the other accounts. But regardless, that's I don't want to delete anything I have, so I don't want to click this. Okay, I'll just create a brand new one. All right, I'm gonna load just a RSI. I will load my demo. My demo's up, everything's loaded, launched. All right, now I'm going to delete that, so I'll just simply click X. It comes up, do you want to remove workspace demo? In this case, it says workspace. It's referring to the desktop, so we will note that. Click OK, and notice it's gone. It doesn't change anything on your display. It clears this out, but notice from the list, I no longer have demo as a selection that I can even pull from. So it actually deleted it. So I'll have to load up another list if I wanted to have something else displayed. And if I want to go back to demo, it's not there anymore. So that's that. Okay. If the scanner time frame is set to M1, does the particular column refresh every minute? That's a good question. That I do not know. I assume that right now the current refresh rate is every cycle. Every time it goes through this, it just refreshes and recycles back through there. So it's probably right now, looks like it's set at about every 30 seconds. But it's constantly going through and refreshing and recalculating these rates, not based upon time frame. No tick charts yet. Absolutely not, Bruno. MT4 does not have the capability of showing the tick charts. It just does not a tick chart display platform. If you want tick charts, you will have to use some other platform other than MT4. MT4 Professional is not does not change the MT4 platform itself. It just gives a lot of features that add to the existing platform. So we'll never be able to actually use tick charts. Um, Mick wants to know how to install the bonuses that were sent out. Okay. We had sent an email out that gave a list of bonuses. And so I'm not quite prepared for that right now. We have to wing this. But an email was sent to you with a file that was, let me see if I can get that file open here, and I might be able to go through that with you. I'm winging this right now, so hold on. Okay. All right, so I'll be able to walk you through that right now. Okay, so the software that we sent you for the demo download is called HT_HW. That's what you should have downloaded onto your computer. Here in my downloads folder is that file. Okay. The directions within here, you will find a README file. That README file goes through the necessary steps that you need to follow in order to install that. Okay. So launch MT4 Professional, go to Open File Data window. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'll move this out of the way. File, Open Data Folder. Okay, so the data folder window opens up right here, and it shows me the hidden roaming location of where this installation has my setups. Okay. That README then goes through and says, copy the contents of the zip file there and click the confirmation button that appears. Okay. And this is exactly what it's going to include. So I'll get rid of this and I'll come over here and I'll show you this setup there. The MQL4 and templates are the two folders that are contained within that zip file. Okay, and so here is the location that I'm going to put them. So all you need to do is copy them into this folder that you're looking for. Okay, so take this and this. I'll drag it over into here and copy it into that directory. It asks you if the files are named the same, you will be asked to replace them. Any file within these folders, it will automatically be replaced. I can click this and do this for all the current items. I've found one other one, so it's looking for the MQL4 folder and for the other folder. So it's not overwriting the folders, it's merging the contents of whatever's in those folders with whatever is located in these folders. And if the file already exists, then it's going to replace those files. All you do is just click yes. I've already installed them. I don't want to reinstall them again. I'm going to cancel that. But you would just simply click yes, and it would walk you through this copy and installation process. And that's all there is to it. Once you do that, the folders then will be located. If you look in templates, then you'll see that the templates trade management and trade monitoring will be appearing in that folder. Okay. And then you'll also see in the MQL4 file folder that there will be an indicator that will show up. That is called the MT4Professional Trade Monitor right there. The trade monitoring.ex4 file will show up inside your indicator MT4 Professional folder. And that's, if you look in this file, there's an expert that will show up, the MT4 Professional folder, trade manager, indicator, the MT4 Professional folder, that trade monitoring file, and inside the one more. The templates are the two templates. So everything gets copied to where it needs to be, and you don't have to worry about it. That should do. Okay, Mick? Okay, Samuel, I can see it's already been answered. Got that. David, you've already been answered. Got that. Okay, I'm up to date on the question. So then I'll just continue on with my demonstration. Trying to limit this to an hour if at all possible. So we've gone over the desktop, the workspace, the scanner symbol list. We've gone over the general terms, but I haven't shown you any of the specifics of those. And I've gone through the use, but I want to make sure that you understand all of the features that we have here. The very first time you launch MT4 Professional, and if you want to use custom timeframes, then the CTF button over here on the right gives you the opportunity to use custom timeframes. So click that. Okay, the first time you click that, then it gives you a window that pops up that puts our standard disclaimer that we have to display and to put out for you with regards to creating and generating custom timeframes within the MT4 environment. This button, if you have never run this before, will be available. So you click the Enable button, and that will enable MT4 Professional from that point on to calculate custom timeframes for you. If at any time you don't want to use the custom timeframe feature, then you click the Disable button, and you will no longer be able to automatically create custom timeframes. But with this enabled, then it enables you to, at any point, input a custom timeframe into a chart or a setup. And that's all you have to do. Once you do that one time, you never have to do it again. Okay, so that's what the button is there for. If you want to turn it on or turn it off, it gives you the ability to do that. The redraw button, that's all it does. It just redraws the current workspace only. It doesn't redraw anything else. It just redraws for you the current workspace that's defined. If you do any resizing, or if you change things, or say for example, I want to go full screen, by clicking F11, then you can see I've got a full screen display now. All of my tools are set away, or put away. All my MT4 environment tools are put away, but you can see I've got a lot of space. So by clicking redraw, it just simply goes and redraws the window for me to fit in the available space I have, and it just makes it that much easier to do. So redraw is very handy. If I go back through and load a template here of something else, that's a different one, or if I apply any other template that I want to apply, it doesn't matter. Redraw will simply go back through. It'll pull the workspace definition from the cloud based upon the name that I have loaded in the workspace column, and it will reload that to your desktop. So if you make any mistakes or if you want to go and test a few things, that looks good. Well, if it looks good, then go in and save that setup as a new workspace. If it doesn't look good, just redraw it. It's that easy. I see a potential trade setup coming. Um, Let me see if there are any potential ones coming anywhere. I don't know if there are or not, but based upon this list, there really isn't. But if you did see one, then you could always look at the setups and trade those. Um, the trade button allows you to pull up the trade order system as part of the trade management system. Remember at the very beginning on the risk sizing that it gave you a way to define the default risk size? Well, that's where it's used at right here, but you can always change it. If 1/10 of 1% is too much, you want to go to 0.05% risk on your trade account, then this is where you would establish that. So based upon your stop loss, and the stop loss is a requirement on any trade, then you double click it to enable it, move it around. You don't have to double click it again. It'll always remember it's double clicked. You set that up. I'm going to be looking at either buying or selling this, but right now let's look at selling that. So I'm going to put this at where I think it should go. If I want a take profit point, I do not have to have one. As a minimum, you have to have a stop loss minimum in order for this to give you a trade. But if you don't enter anything else but a stop loss, then it will enable the sell button. And now because the stop is below, the stop is located higher than the current price, then this is a sell only. So you can see I can't click any of the buy buttons. It'll only allow me to sell. If I were to change this down below price, meaning I want to buy, then the stop will be listed here, but then notice buy market is the only button that comes up. If I want to create a limit order, once a certain condition is met, then I have the entry button. The entry button creates a white line. The white line, I want it to give me a condition that limits that. So this automatically gives me a sell stop order that will be entered whenever price comes and hits this line. It will automatically sell it for me. Okay. So whenever this current line right here comes down and hits that, it will sell at the market based upon this current stop, the price based upon that risk. And now the difference between this line and this line is my risk. And since I have my risk calculated to 0.05%, that is going to be the number of contracts that I will have in this trade based upon this distance to stop and percent risk in my trade. I'm only going to risk a certain amount, and that certain amount is based upon this value and this distance, and that gives me the number of contracts in the trade. The larger I make this stop value, the smaller the number of contracts I'm going to have in the trade. If I were to move this up closer to this entry price right here, that's going to give me a lot more contracts because the amount needed to give me 0.05 risk in the trade is now going to require a larger number of lots to trade. Okay, so that's the basic use of how to do that. It's very, very simple. Once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy to look at and to use and to set up like that. Okay, so if I were to do this, it would automatically give me a sell stop. Notice that I can't do anything else on this trade. If I have a take profit point, then it gives me the green line. Double click it and move it. If I want to take profit in this trade, I think it's going to come at least to this point. Then it will automatically calculate a risk reward value based upon the stop in the trade, what my reward value will be. If I want to currently take a market order where price is right now, then I'll just remove my entry point by clicking this. It toggles off. Now entry is always going to be slaved to the current price. So this value right here then is going to be the automatic value for being stopped out. and this right here will be the profit target. So you can see that my risk reward jumped up to a 2.5 to 1. From here to here and here to here gives me a 2.5 risk reward value, reward risk ratio. So this is 2.5%, 2.5 times profit for the risk I'm putting in this trade. All right, so everything is already calculated for you. I currently only have a sell market availability, so I have to sell at market in order to get that price. So if I sell at this point right here, then I'm selling at this market value right here. If I want to buy, then I'd be buying right back at this market. If this line hits my stop, then I'm out of the trade. So I need to make sure that based upon the difference in the pip spread right here, that my stop is going to be put position. Now I want to stop when the price gets here, but that's going to be this line right here. So I've got to add the spread into it. Okay, if I know that it's going to get to that point, the spread's going to stop me out long before I ever get there. So I have to take this value and add my spread in order to properly place my stop. In doing that, notice that it changed my risk reward. Is that still a good risk reward? You have to take that into account anytime that you're trading in these markets. Okay? And all you have to do is just click the button to enter the trade, and it automatically will go through and manage and help you on managing that trade. Are there questions on the send order portion? How do you change the default value for risk percent after you've installed MT4 Pro? Okay, I'll show you that. If you click OK without hitting an order entry button, then it will just close it down and it won't come back up with these values, and it won't execute a trade. See, everything just goes away. And if you enter a new trade again, then it comes right back up with all the default values. You'll have to re-enter them all again. How do you reset those values? Notice down here on the tabs there are specific windows that are displayed. For example, the M30. If I double click on that, you can see I have control of that window, the M5 and so forth. Well, right here on the Euro Daily, that is my MT4 window. If you look at the expert advisors that are loaded, you can see I have my MT4Professional loaded on that. That's my base daily chart that comes up. This one right here is my control panel, and this one here is my chart tools on the top. Right here is how you go up and change your default trade risk. Okay. So I did that simply by going to the original chart that I loaded MT4Professional on. That's why I always start on a fresh chart and always load up a daily euro. I always know wherever I'm at that the daily euro is my setting. So I just simply open that window, right click, select Expert Advisor Properties, and then it will come up with my inputs value that I can set my default trade risk and have it preset there each time. Okay. Can you open an existing profile within MT4 into MT4Professional and save it as a new workspace? You can. There are certain things you need to do first in order to do that. Let me go out into my MT4 environment here. I'll hit F11 again. That puts me back out into my normal environment where I have access to this. Notice it redrew everything, so I'll just quickly do that to resize things. All right, so he's asking, can I take any existing workspace and make it usable within here? You have to be able to come in and save it as such. The entire workspace you cannot use. Any profile that you currently have, you can't use any other profiles within MT4Professional because it itself is a profile and it's not made to create or use any existing profiles. Okay, But if you have existing templates that that profile has, then you can obviously do that. So if I were to go out to another one, for example, this one, then this is one where I have 3 charts set up. I have on them, I have loaded a double roadkill setup, a single roadkill setup, and then a standard setup. So the templates that I use for this, uh, all I have to do is take note of the templates used and the windows that are here. I cannot load this exact setup, but I can recreate it. And any template that's already here, I can create and use. If you notice, if the indicator list that's here, um, there is a list of all of the indicators that are preloaded on here. Notice that in this list, there is not a MT4 Professional Tools list. That's one of the requirements of running any template or chart window inside the MT4 environment is if you want it to interact with the MT4 Professional tools, you will have to load the MT4 Professional Tools indicator. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you how it's done. I think I might already have that. And let me go and check just to see. These I don't. I want to use that as an example. All right, so let me go back here and pull it up. So if I were to look at the template list, then you can see I have a lot of different templates available to me. Some I have labeled with an MT4 Pro. It tells me that they have or have not been loaded with that. But if I were to look at my indicator list, then you can see on here that I have MT4 Professional Tools loaded onto this template within the MT4 environment. So by doing that, what I can do is if I were to come up and create a new workspace here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new one. So instead of just doing anything, I'll just make a new workspace here and I'll show you from scratch how to pull any existing template you have and to make it MT4 compatible. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to create 3 charts. Okay, it automatically comes up with 3 charts already sized for me. Do I want this configuration? Do I like it? If I don't like it, then I can change it, obviously. Okay. I can set things the way I like. That's the way I saw that I liked it. Okay, there was a specific template that I wanted to use. Then I load that template here. Okay, I click the template button, it pulls up a list. I need to go through and look at the first one I wanted was the 2 roadkill. I will open that. The second one I wanted, I think, was a single roadkill. Right there. And the third one I wanted was the okay. Time frames. The first one I think I had set to 5. Second one was 15. The third one to 30. I don't have them pre-configured for a symbol because I want to change the symbols. Notice the size comes to come default, but if I want to change the size of these at any point, then it will automatically recalculate that. All I have to do is just drag and drop it right now. It looks good. It reloads these in. If I want to load the same template in all 3 settings, then there's a nice feature under File that says Apply Template to All. What that does is it gives you a choice of coming up and choosing a template and it automatically will apply to all three windows. It's a nice, easy little thing. To create a note, all you have to do is just put it in here and just say that what this workspace is. In the future, if you want to share this with anyone, then it automatically displays the notes to the sender list, and it tells them exactly what this workspace configuration involves. So you can put any note in there that you like with regards to that. Select File, Save Workspace As, give it a name if you don't already have one, and I'll call this one my 3 chart, 2 roadkill, 1 roadkill, full. And that's just what I'm going to call it. That workspace has been saved. Okay. Now if I want to go up under my workspace list, I'm looking for my Hawkeye 3 chart, 2 roadkill, and we'll go out. It'll find those workspaces, those templates, and automatically load it in. Okay. If I right click on the indicator list, then on the indicator list you'll see MT4 Professional Tools are loaded. So it looks like I already have inserted that list onto the template for 2 roadkill. On this list, look at its indicators. Tools has already been installed on that one as well. I was trying to find one that maybe it hadn't, and it looks like I've already installed the tools on those templates. So let me pull up a separate template here just to see. Let me see if volume has that. Okay, notice that this template does not have the tools indicator loaded on it. So any window that I click on that does not show a white square in the upper corner shows me that the MT4 Professional Tools indicator is not loaded on that window. See, I click on this window, it does not respond with a small box. Also, if I wanted to use my vertical line, then the vertical line function works on any window where I have MT4 Professional Tools installed, but notice it does not work on this window at all. So to fix that, all I have to do is take my MT4 Professional Tools indicator, drag and drop it onto that, click OK, and it now will respond and have the same behavior as the other windows. So if you're using them within MT4 Professional, you can use them and it will not affect your templates in any way. You can still use those same templates outside of MT4 Professional. It will not interfere or affect any of your performance on any of your other charts, but it is a requirement to use it within MT4 Professional if you want to integrate it with your vertical line or your other tools within that. So now you can see that it is fully functional within the setup just by adding that indicator. Now, to do that, if you right click and select template, you need to save the template now. Since I did a change to it, if I don't do that, it will not update the template with that. So I click Save Template and then save it as the existing name or save over it if you want to create a new name. Like here I have a Hawkeye Zones and I have a Hawkeye Zones MT4 Pro. So I give it a specific name to show me these are ones I have that has the tool in it and doesn't have the tool in it. Most of them I have out here already have them preloaded in, and I still use them outside and it doesn't affect the use of them whatsoever. So you can use any template you like. It's very easy to recreate the workspace within MT4 Professional. You just cannot take a full profile that's outside and import it in. I hope that helps. Do you understand that, Dave? Was I able to explain the process to you clearly? Okay, I'll assume it was then. Good. Okay, excellent. Uh, I answered Samuel's question. Uh, David, okay, looks like you were answered. Mick, on a buy stop or sell stop, does the orders that have not triggered show in monitoring? No. You have to have an active order in order for it to come up in the trade monitor or the trade management function. You have to have an open order. If you try to click that when there's no orders um, monitor, there's no open order, so there's nothing going to happen. It's just blank. It has to have an open order in order for it to come up. Tom, let's see, your question was already answered. Let's see, David, templates. So any template have to be created or amended within normal MT4. No, not before. You can create and amend it while you're in MT4 Pro. That's probably the best way to do it. Is when you load it and have it come up. If you see that the MT4 Professional tools are not displaying the square box in the corner, just simply drag and drop it onto it and right click and then template and then save template. And that way you automatically know which ones that you're using are going to be needed or not. That's probably the easiest way to do it, is do it here within MT4 Pro. You don't have to do it outside of it first. Tom. Okay, you're talking about the MT4 indicator. Yeah, if you want to have, it's not a requirement to have it to use it, but if you want the vertical lines, if you want the trader, if you want the list histories, if you want to be able to interact with the MT4 professional environment, then you do need to have the MT4 professional tools indicator loaded onto the chart that's being displayed. And this is being recorded. You will get an email with a recording, a link to the recording a day after this, and we're going to also put the recording of today's session here in the training videos section of the online documentation of MT4 Professional in your membership area. Samuel, the question is, how can I assign a new default value to the risk percent? Samuel, I think I already gone through that and I showed you how to do that. By assigning the default value, go to the MT4 Professional window that you first created. Okay. You look at the Expert Advisor properties. You will change your default risk setting right here. That's how you change the value. Right now I have it 0.1. If you change it to 0.05, okay. For example, save. Okay. All right. And I think I messed it up. Oh, that's a good feature. See? Now I have floating values. All right. I hope that that you can see that. I'm just going to go back through and relaunch that then. I just surprised it. So if I were to come back up into my trade, then now I have 0.05 set up. Nikos, V line, H line, how do they work? Okay. The vertical line, horizontal line are just simple lines so I can toggle them on or off by clicking the V line, H line. Okay, so what V line, H line does is it gives you a display. This line right here, left and right arrow, simply just moves the display. So if I'm moving it left, it moves it left one tick. Moves it right one tick. Okay. The horizontal line gives you a horizontal line that you can drag and drop. So by moving this here, then you can see the corresponding horizontal line does the same thing. So if I find a base support or a stop value that's here, then I can see where that's located on all three time frames. The same with my vertical line. I double click it. You can see the little white tab on the top. It gives me the ability to move that. So I can move that to a specific point as well. And you can see the alignment on the multiple time frames. If I click the left or right arrow buttons, it will automatically slave it to the close, okay, of the bar that's coming on. So it automatically goes to the close of whatever the price bar that it's at for both the vertical line and the horizontal line. If I no longer want the display, then I click H line to remove the horizontal line, V line to remove the vertical line. And if I want them back again, I just simply click it to put it back on the screen. Okay. Samuel, I will defer that to one of the technical guys to answer that question. It's beyond the scope of our class here today, but I'll let someone answer that in the questions panel for you. Let me continue on with this. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see what is setting up right here. That one already has done. Gone back in. Looking for one that's setting up. All right, say for example, this looks like it's um, doing a long setup right here. So I'm going to look at trading this to the long side. Okay, so stop loss. My stop loss is coming in here. I'll take and move that to a specific value. I don't want it to come back and suck me out. So I want to start it from here. Actually, it's a downtrend. Looks like if it breaks this point here, it's going to go long. So if it does do that, then these stops probably are going to be somewhere along in here anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and set it right there just for now. I don't have a specific take profit, but it's going to be right around this area here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my take profit point in. And I'm going to move it up to say, what is it, 757. Yeah, probably right around in there. All right, so it gives me about a 2.7 to 1 risk reward, so that all looks good. I want it to give me a trigger when it stops, so I'm going to go ahead and take the entry now just to show you what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and buy market at this point. See, so it set my take profit exactly where I had the line. It put my stop exactly where I had the line. Order entry line is set up right there exactly where my entry is. So I'm looking at this as a long trade for my specific profit target. Now that I have a trade entered, then you can see when I pull up my monitor button, then it's automatically going to pull that trade up, the Aussie US dollar. It's automatically going to display my current open profit and loss setting. This is the trade monitor. So if I were to look at the indicator list on this, I have my MT4 Professional tools. I have my standard Hawkeye trend and stops indicator loaded. and I have the trade monitoring indicator that you were provided as part of your bonus already preloaded into this monitor template. And this template that's used, if I were to look at the template, okay, is the trade monitoring template right here. So it used that template to make this chart look like. If I have more than one trade on, then it will automatically pull up two windows for me in this anytime I click it. If I click manage, then what it's going to do is it's automatically going to slave the stop to the Hawkeye stop. But in this case, you can see I entered a trade long on a Hawkeye red trend. See, so that doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? See, it's obvious that a lot of times price goes to the Hawkeye stops and reverses. I just did this as an example. But if I were to turn the manage on, then it will automatically slave the stop to the Hawkeye stop, which right now the Hawkeye stop is here, so it will automatically close my position and stop me out of the trade. I think there is a safety feature set up so that if you're in that, it will not do that. It understands that it will stop you out, so I don't think it will automatically knock you out of the trade. But that's what it'll do. So I'm going to wait until the trade goes greater than this and the trend changes, and then I'll see exactly where that is. And then I'll go to my monitor button, my manage button, and it will automatically slave my stop to the Hawkeye stop when it gets painted there. Okay. So all I have to do is display my current workspace to go back to where I was before, and it will automatically display that for me. I can click on my List Trades button, and a window pops up that shows me the current trade settings. I currently have 3.7 lots on this Australian US dollar because I was looking at a 0.05 trade setup. Entry, exit, and so forth. There's my current profit. It even gives me a little notepad that says, you entered this trade using the Hawk Randy 1 workspace, and you entered on the 5-minute chart. So every time you click monitor or manage, it's always going to pull this information up, and it will display the proper chart and the proper time frame that the trade was entered on. At any point, you can take and manage this trade anywhere. If at any point you look like you're in trouble and you want to get out of the trade, then there is a very quick enable disable button here. Click it once, it enables. The close button, disable it, and it goes away. So this way you don't accidentally click it and exit a trade you don't want to exit. But if you need to get out of it, then you enable it and you can click close, and it will automatically exit you from that trade. Okay. If you're on any other window and you want to quickly get back to your trade, clicking on view will automatically pull up a view of the setup, which is going to reload this workspace, and it will show you the actual trade setup on the current chart that you've done. So the blue or purple will show you the actual open trade, the number of the trade, where you entered, and the current price that you are at correctly right now. So if you were to exit the trade, this is where the value that it would be if you entered it, it'd be right there. Okay. So that's the current trade list trades. If you want to see any historical trades, then you can open up the historical trades window. Okay. The historical trades window gives you a list of any other historical trades that you've made in the past that lists them on the side there, giving you an overall risk reward or whatever. It shows you all of the windows that you traded from and the charts that you were using to trade those. And you can also look back on historical trades to find out, okay, how did I make this? How did I lose that? And you go back through and find out, okay, the time frames that you were using to trade those, what markets you traded, where the trade was taken at, and so forth. So it gives you the ability to go in and analyze your back trades to find out, okay, these are the ones I'm having problems with. I need to look at that. These are the ones I'm doing well on. Okay, how did I do that, and so forth. And so you look back at your prior trades to see. And once you click on those, if you click the view button, then you can see where the trade was, okay, how it was taken, and Go back there. So let me see where that was taken here. There it was right there. Okay, so it looks like I took the trade. Let me turn this off. Looks like I was on an existing trend and I took that as a long up into an existing trend that was already there. So if I take it on the 5-minute chart that I was trading, maybe I have enough history. There it is. You can see I had an existing trend and I have price come back up and give me a nice little profit target in the middle of an existing trend. So that's just a really quick trade example that showed what it was done. Had I taken the trade initially and held that trade, obviously it would have been long, but the purpose of this was just to scalp and to demonstrate the overall function of the trader. So that's all it is. So it gives you a very quick recap of, okay, where did I take the trade and where it was that took that. Okay. Snapshot, the snapshot feature. Okay, let me see if there's any questions before I go on. Will you be sending Tomahawk templates to the Tomahawk subscribers? I certainly can. I certainly can. So Tomahawk, you wanted me to pull up a quick Tomahawk display. I can do that. This is my settings for that. So for example, if I want to send this a copy of this to someone, this is currently the setup that I've got on that. I have a scanner set that's using the Hawkeye scanner, so I think you should already have that Hawkeye scanner set up, but if you don't, I can include that as well. But I do have a lot of different templates here for different settings because on some instances I like to have 2 instances of MT4 running. On one of them I have this setup, which is my scanner and a chart. So at any point I can see the current scanner setup with the Fat Man, and then I have a free floating chart that anytime I click on any symbol, then it automatically loads that symbol up in the window that I'm looking at. I'm working on the visual display of the Hawkeye volume paint bar, so don't let this, if you look at the indicators, I have the volume paint bar loaded on, so um, you can see that this is the normal display. I'm looking at, because I want to be able to see the volume on the price, and so I'm working on modifying a new display that enables us to do that. But anyway, this is the setup for that, and I'll make sure to include that as well. But I like this setup because whenever I click on a new symbol, then it will go through and change only the window that's affected by that. I've made these windows all static, and I'll show you how to do that. To make a window static, all you have to do is input a fixed symbol into the window that you want static, and it will always come up as that symbol. For example, this window that has my scanner in it, I've slaved it to a Euro US dollar symbol so that whenever I click on the symbol list, it never changes, it will never redraw, and it will always remain in a static mode. Same thing with my Fat Man. They don't need to be redrawn. So it's a real MT4 saver because you don't have to recalculate and redisplay. It's a time saver. And then I have this one this is the only one that has to be redrawn. It's the only one with an open symbol so that it can be changed to any symbol I click on the list. In the manage window, the EA, let me see where my trade is right now. Looks like it still is down. I don't think it's gone up yet. Yeah, see, I'm still negative on the trade. I'll view that real quick just to show me where I'm at. Okay, the Aussie US dollar. See, I entered here, and this is where I currently am in the trade. You can see that it has, it's in a short trade. I mean, it's in a long 1 minute. I entered on a 5 minute, but it's currently on a 1 minute right now. So I entered here at the break coming out, expecting it to go long, but it has obviously pulled back and starting to go back down. So based upon a 1 minute, it would stop here, but the stop loss that I have for it right now is right here. I want it to continue to go north was the original intention. I just threw the trade on for an example, but this gives you to show you exactly what you're looking for on that Aussie US dollar trade to show you where it's at. But the question was, does it capture my trailing trade, the stop along with the Hawkeye stop? Yes, it does. The indicator, if you were to go to the Manage button, then it will automatically load the 5-minute chart. I'll go ahead and click it and show you. See, I'll automatically load the 5-minute chart, and you can see that the Hawkeye stop is on a 5-minute chart, a downtrend. So the Hawkeye stop is up here, but my current stop is right here. So it's not going to pull it up to that stop because I have already moved my stop inside the Hawkeye stop. So the trade manager expert advisor that's running, okay, it is going to slave it to the Hawkeye stop, but it won't do it if it looks like it's going to exit you from that trade the way that it's set up. It really needs to, this is an upside down trade. It should not have been entered to begin with, but if you're a Hawkeye trader, you would only have entered it once it broke the stop. And if that were the case, then these stops would be in the right location and it would slave this trailing stop to my existing stop. So I can go ahead and let this run out just to show you, but I'm going to go and try to find another trade set up and enter it to show you how the slave trade works, and then it'll show up as a separate window. David, will you be able to briefly explain how you would interpret the scanner to focus on pair that has potential setup? Yeah, absolutely. In this case, if I were looking at a trade setup, then I'm looking at the scanner over here based upon these are Hawkeye rule sets. So the Euro Aussie looks like it is 1 minute red trend, but the longer term is green trend. So if this green volume I see comes into back into alignment with the existing trend, then that looks like it'd be a nice roadkill or re-entry setup. However, my euro right now does not look specifically strong, but it is strong with regards to the Australian dollar. So that's the way we're looking at it right here. The Australian dollar setting is good, but everything else it's weak against. The yen is the one that's strong relative to the US dollar, so maybe the yen is the one I should be looking at. So let me pull up my yen pairs and then see what the scanner shows me. This is the Tomahawk scanner, but this is the scanner within MT4Professional that shows the actual Hawkeye rules displayed on that. So if we're looking at the yen pairs, the yen dollar currently is strong versus weak, but let's see what the actual trend says and if that cycle looks like it might be getting ready to reverse on us. So I'm going to click on the US dollar Japanese yen and look at it. So you can see that the overall existing trend is strong to the downside, showing there's a yen strength against a weak US dollar, but now you're starting to see US dollar volume build. And so this looks like it's starting to reverse, and you're starting to see some strength coming back in the US dollar. So this might be a reversal point. Anytime you see all lit versus no lit, then you can see there's very good potential for either continuation trends or reversals to exist. So right here, this says that it is just all downtrend. So this one shows you that the weakness that's coming in now, showing that full long-term downtrend on 3 time frames, which we obviously see here, is starting to weaken because opposing volume is coming in, and that's what this scanner is telling you. This one, the euro yen, looks like it's a potential setup to come back in because you have longer term green trends, but you have shorter term red with green volume. So that shows us that we have a potential setup here. for that to be. So you have a longer term green trend, but you have a current red trend on the short time frame. But if I were to go to my 5-minute here, so you can see the 5-minute is still in a long-term green trend, but it is weakened. And then my 15-minute, you can see that I am in a current long-term trend, green trend, okay, right here. But you can see from the volume has turned weak. You can see that Japanese yen is starting to come in with strength, trying to push that down, but may not be enough to stop it out. So understanding and interpreting the scanner is based upon your understanding and interpreting of the rules that the scanner is based on. The scanner doesn't care the rules. As long as you put the rules in and you know how to interpret those rules, then the scanner shows you this is a potential continuation trade, because if this volume, this green volume here does come back in line and the longer term green volume comes in line, this will be a great resumption of a trade. So if I were to go back to my 1 minute, you can see that that break of this would get me back into the trend, and then it looks like it might continue as a continuation of this trend. It might not. It might just be coming back to retest this value and then continue down. And in that case, then you can see all this weakness is starting to come back into the 1 minute. You might see a reversal if you start to see strength building in the 1 minute on the US dollar. That's what that's telling you. No, Paul, you cannot use, as I said earlier, you cannot use a custom time frame within the scanner at the moment. Right now, the scanner is limited only to standard time frames, but we are looking at that as a future feature to upgrade MT4Professional with. But right now, it's not available. Only standard times within the scanner. Right now, Karen, the scanner is preset with the Hawkeye rules, but I've provided you with a copy of my scanner for the Hawkeye rules, so you should already have a copy of that that I'd sent you. And if you don't, let me know, but you should be able to find that. If you're looking for one, and if you don't already have it, then how do I get it into my MT4Professional platform? Okay, that's a good question. So if I sent you a workspace, then you click on the plus sign. Under File, you select Open Workspace. You will come up with this window. Within this window, you'll have all of the existing workspaces that you currently have in the cloud. You'll also have a window down here that's called Inbox. All the workspaces that are sitting right now in your inbox. If I click on that, then you'll see that there are a whole lot of workspaces that have been sent to me. You should find the ones I sent you here. Simply select the one that I sent you, click Open, and it will automatically load the workspace from the cloud that I sent you. If you like the setting and the way that it's set up, then you have to go click plus and save workspace as to put it on your cloud. Otherwise, it will always be available from my cloud, but not from your cloud. And you load it up, save it as a workspace to your cloud, and then you'll be able to have this available anytime that you load it or launch it anywhere else that you go. Okay. The same with the scanner. If you click a new scanner, then it comes with a scanner window. If you file open, you can open up the scanner that was sent to you. Here is the Hawkeye 5, 15, 30, 60. Here it is. Here's the 1, 5, 15. And here's another one, a 1, 5, and 15. So you can load any of those. This is a scanner for the standard Hawkeye indicators. It maps trend volume and heat map and describes that a little bit. So those are the notes that I've applied to that scanner. I open that and it gives me everything that I have pre-described and show you, and it will display this exact same display on the scanner. To make that yours, just go under File, Save Scanner As. and that will save the file. You can give it a name or give it the same name, and you can make that your own. You can't have two separate scanners on at one time, but you can have and expand the window so that it expands to multiple time frames. So if you said that you wanted 1, 5, and 15, and you wanted 15, 30, and an hour. So if you just wanted additional time frames, then you can just simply edit your scanner, add 2 more time frames. So it's 1, 5, 15. In this case, you said you wanted a 30 and a H1. So yeah, just set that one as an M30 and that one as a M1, H1. Okay. Then you would set you can make this symbol name anything, or if you don't set it, it'll by default go to these values. And then make sure that you tell it how to display for those 2 time frames. So give it the same settings that you had here. So this one you would set as trend. The values that come up here are the names of the values that you set for your color rules. So this is just saying, I want you to set the color of this background based upon the rules I defined here. And the same with these, okay? And then if you want to display the notes or not, you can display and click those, yes or no. It's up to you. Give it a specific name. If you don't really want them, then just click remove. And when you're done, just click File, Save As. Or if you don't want to save it as something, just save it. And then you can update it that way. Okay. In the case that you have more indicators loaded than you have view, then you can sit here and scroll through those if you need to get to those. And you can obviously add more by clicking the Add button. And you can see how I loaded them in and the values that I used for those specific indicators there. You're very welcome. Paul, you should already have my scanner setups. So look in your inbox. You should be able to see them already. David, did I explain for you sufficiently how to interpret the scanner? Because the scanner really is only going to be interpreted based upon the setup that you use. Tomahawk and Hawkeye is a little more complex. If I load a simple one, like a MACD, then I'll load up my MACD settings. Then the scanner is looking at the MACD as anything that is positive will be bullish, and anything that's negative then becomes bearish. And so by looking at that, my interpretation from the MACD is that I am long-term bullish, so my MACD 4-hour, daily, and weekly bullish on the Aussie yen. All right, long-term bullish New Zealand CAD and New Zealand yen. Long-term bearish Euro New Zealand and Euro Australian. So you can see overall trend and interpretation of those based upon interpretation of your indicator. But the scanner not only gives you that result for the current chart, but it gives you the result for all of the symbols that you're looking for. And so by looking at that, you can very quickly try to find setups where, okay, I have a short-term change here and a longer-term trend. So does that give me a potential trade opportunity to take advantage of? See, so I can see that my daily has gone into short-term change, but my weekly and my monthly has not. Okay, or if I go back over to my Euro US dollar, I would be looking for daily, H4. H4, Euro US dollar, H4 is green, so you can see I am clearly green on my MACD. I am green on my, what is that one, the daily? See, I'm positive on the daily. and red or negative on the weekly. So it gives me a very good map of what I'm looking at, and looks like H4 daily and then weekly looks like I'm coming back into existing strength. So this pullback gives me a good opportunity to possibly continue in the existing trend. So you're just looking at that is all. And you make the rules so you can interpret it the way that you like. Paul, I've answered this question a couple of times, but I'll say it again. The custom time frame is not available for the scanner yet. It's a feature we're looking at upgrading. But the custom time frame, you can only set standard time frames for the scanner. You can have custom time frames for the Fat Man, but only using the Fat Man indicator itself, not within MT4 Professional environment. You can have any custom time frame window, but in order to run that, you need to have the Tomahawk Fat Man if you want a custom time frame Fat Man, because Fat Man does not work in non-standard time frames. So let me pull up a workspace that I believe has that on it and give you an example. Okay, here I have a 1 minute, I have a 3 minute, and an 8 minute Fat Man. So the chart itself, if I were to look at this chart, is a 1 minute time frame chart. So let me show you the workspace setup for this. You can see that these Fat Men down here are all listed as a 1 minute time frame. So that's a standard time frame. I have to load the Fat Man on a standard time frame, but if I were to look at the indicator list, you can see the Tomahawk Fat Man time frame is listed as an M3. So that's a function within the indicator. The normal Fat Man will not do multiple time frames, but the Tomahawk Fat Man does go into off time frame charts. But the regular Fat Man will not display on non-standard charts. It will only display on standard charts, standard time frames. That's not an MT4 Professional. That's just a Hawkeye thing. Okay, so I think I've covered most everything through this setup. Are there other questions specific to that? Otherwise, I think that we're ready to conclude the orientation and demonstration. I've shown you from the very beginning how to install and set up your first configuration. I've been able to go through and show you how to use the overall setups, how to change your desktop or your workspace or your scanners. I've gone through each one of the steps of each one of the buttons to show you the use and functionality of the individual tools. And I've gone through and showed how to send or receive different workspaces and scanners, not only from me or to me, but you can also send me setups, workspaces, or scanners that you've created as well. And then we can share those also amongst ourselves. One of the professional trader features of the environment. If you missed the first 20 minutes, then make sure and get a copy of the recording. Also, always go back to the MT4Professional.com members area. Let me sign out and show you how to get back in again. Okay. You just simply log back in. I want to log out and go from the very beginning. Okay, go to MT4Professional.com. Always click the sign in button if you're an existing customer. Sign in button will go through. You give it the sign in information, click login, and it logs you into your current account where you can download the information. You have access to documentation. If you need help with installation and configuration, here's a nice video that goes through and explains all of that. Here's a detailed video that goes through the scanner configurator to show you step by step how to set up a scanner from scratch and how to use your specific rules. It's an example that walks you through it, but it helps you to get started on that. And if there's anything else that you need within the Getting Started guide, then it's available there. Any information within the trading, if you need more details on what's involved in the scanner, specific to that, then it goes through and gives you these examples here, to set up and show specific notes that you're looking for and what it does and how it relates to the platform and so forth. That's one thing I didn't go over, snapshots. Thank you, Samuel. I appreciate that. The snapshot gallery, okay, that shows you all of these screenshots that you have taken from within MT4 Professional. If on a certain page you have a setup or a trade that you want to highlight, say for example, I've got uh, let's go back over to my monitor because it's set up right there. You can see that I currently have this trade. I'm currently upside down in this trade. I'm not really looking very good in this trade. Although I have set my stop at a pretty good point, it's still not very satisfying to me at this point. I want to document this. So what I want to do is I want to take a snapshot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take that full screen. I can make a shorter screen if I want to just do all my charts, or I can just do any selected area. I'm going to do a selected area. Okay, so you can see that now from this point I can just take and select a specific screen segment. So I'll take this. Pull it over. Isn't that working? Let me try that again. There we go. See the window that comes out? I see it. You see the little red outline that's there. Then it enables me to grab and take that area. And once I take the area, I can drag it around and move it anywhere I want to. But once I'm done with it, if I just double click it, it automatically will take and capture the area that I have selected, and it will open up a trade management window that enables me to control that picture. So it took a snapshot of that screen. I can review that. I can annotate it or make notes if I want to zoom in or zoom out. I can apply any type of annotations to that to identify this area and say, this is a trade setup that you shouldn't take because if you're a Hawkeye trader, you shouldn't be going long on an existing downtrend. So I can say that. Let's see. All right. I'm currently in the Hawkeye environment, so I have a tag I'm going to put on that. It's a Hawkeye tag. It's the Australian US dollar. So it does have I've got US dollar. I'm going to put that in there, Australian. So that way I can group all of my Australian US dollar trades together. This is Hawkeye related. It's not a Tomahawk trade. So I'm listing that. Those are tags I've applied. If I need a new tag, I can just simply add it here. Give it a note if I need to. And this is the name that's going to give it under that trade. So I can go ahead and put a trade or date associated to that. But click upload. It automatically will go and save that to the cloud right here in the snapshot area of your website. So you can see these are all of the other ones that I've previously taken and saved. And anytime I want to save these, you can see there's a little public button there. Up in the right hand corner, it gives you the ability to take, annotate, change, add tags, or to create and make this a public or private. Okay. And then once you do that, you can see the tags are loaded here. So any Australian US dollar tag, I can just simply click on Australian dollar and it'll pull up all of my pictures that have any relationship whatsoever to the Australian dollar. Okay. Right now, see it says it's private. By default, it'll always come up private. Like I showed you, I'll have to just come in here and just change it to make it public. Once I do that, then it displays the public status and it gives you the ability to share with anybody else. So if I want to click this, it's copied to my mouse. I'm going to put this over here and I'm going to right click and save. And then I'm going to send to all. So there's a link to that very same thing that I just copied. So as far as snapshots, and I set that up and I'll do that for you there. And I'll put it over here in the chat window so that way you can click on it and then you can go into that takes you directly to my snapshots folder because it's public, and then you will be able to see this snapshot. I also have made my entire page public. You can see right here that this entire page has a link, and I can make that page either public or private. And so once I make it public, then anybody that has the link can come to my website and share the pictures that I've taken. So you can see on the Australian dollar, this is an example of a trade that you don't want to take. And you can go through and look at all the other charts that I've taken that I have shared and made public. In this case, in this Aussie, they're Aussie only. If I go through all of my charts, then it'll list all of them. I'm only looking for breakouts, then I'm looking specifically at ones or the other, any tomahawk related ones and so forth. So you can set these up based upon tags. You can make your tag list private or public, whatever you like. Okay, that about does it then. If there aren't any other questions or comments, I think I'll about close this down. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording at this point.